my God. I saw this yesterday. I didn't know. So the guy who killed himself at Disney was a principal who jumped to his death at Disneyland, was facing child endangerment charges. Christopher Christian, 51, was of Westminster, was arrested last month, additionally facing battery and misdemeanor child endangerment charges. He was scheduled to appear to court Monday 5th. Why do you do it at Disney? People were still arriving and departing from the theme park when Christensen died, according to the Anaheim police. The Orange County Sheriff Department reported deaths were probably suicide as per news outlet. On Saturday the 3rd, lengthy messages face. I hate when people leave this earth and so many unanswered questions, so I hope this provides some insight and perspective, he wrote. In a memo, it was mentioned that the police had been called to a family dispute. I am on the brink of losing my job, he wrote, so here I am writing my final Facebook post to all of you. I need you to know that a gentle, kind, loving, and sincerely good man has been destroyed by one unfortunate night. That's not what he wrote at all.
What's the see more?
It says here, provide some insight to perspective. It says, this is my wife, Marlena. Yes, you have heard me correctly. Most of you don't know this. Me privately married 3.5 years ago. Marlena and I love and adore each other, and our relationship has been amazing up until recently. Unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, she and I got in a heated argument at home in front of the little girls. Tempers were flared, and
you had to click the see more.
It's not gonna. Oh, it will. Okay.
Ooh, that's a post.
Yeah. So tempers were flared, and strong words were exchanged between us. However, never in this exchange did I hit, slap, or hurt Marlena in any manner, nor did I ever touch the girls, and I have never and never will love the girls like my own, and that's. You know that, as does everyone else who truly knows me. Unfortunately, Marlena Ganger got the best of her that night, and she called the police, which landed me in jail that night. Yes, me, a man who's never hit or harmed anyone in his life, and I think it's safe to say that Marlena truly regrets making that call, because the events of that night have completely unraveled both of our lives. I am on the brink of losing my job. I am out on administrative leave until my case is resolved. However, the legal system is extremely flawed, especially against men and fathers. It is sickening how quickly and easily an innocent man can be thrown in jail on zero evidence of proof. In fact, take a look at the attached screenshots of Marlena's message to my friend about the matter. She, too, had no intention of having that night come this far. She knows I would never hurt the girls, and she, too, has been trying to clear my name with little success. Again, the legal system is deeply flawed, to say the least. Here I am, writing my final Facebook post to all of you, and I need you all to know that a gentle, kind, loving, sincerely good man has been destroyed by one unfortunate night. It's really unfortunate. This not me. This is not something that I ever thought would happen to me. With all that said, I have truly loved educating and leading thousands of students and families as a principal of FVSD for the past 21 plus years. I have made so many wonderful connections with families over the years, and those who know me closely know how much I cared for my students, staff, families, and please remember me for all the good I brought to the world of education. To all my musician friends, thank you. Thank you for performing with me over the past 30 years. We've had a blast performing over and creating such fond memories together. Music has been a wonderful outlet for me, as it has allowed me to have a different and creative world outside of my day job as a principal. I am sad to say that that night was my final performance. However, it went well. It went very well, and I am proud that my final performance was a success. I have always loved performing, especially during the holiday season, and I am going to miss it dearly. There is so much more that I want to say, but I'm going to spend the rest of today reaching out to those closest to me and let them know how much I love them. This is not an ideal way to go out, but at least I get the chance to say some final words to those who I love and adore. Take care, everyone. Please, please be kind to one another. Treat each other with kindness and grace. There's too much anger in the world, and people need to start treating each other better. What I've shared with you above is a prime example of how anger can really have a long-lasting, extremely damaging effect on a person's life. God damn.
People hating in the comments.
You know, I would say the reason he pled guilty was probably to get it off his record sooner. The only reason I pled guilty to a DUI personally is because I battled it for so long. It was easier to plead guilty
and then get it removed.
The fine was a tenth at that time. They dropped drug charges, which really were mine. So I pled guilty to a DUI as a passenger of a car. And I know men struggle with this. We balance the capable with the uncertain. Like, okay, here I can handle this, but I can't handle what I don't know. So like, okay, I know this is going to happen, or I could fight it, and it's uncertain. I was talking to a buddy, and I'm not going to put that out there. Your information is safe with me last night. And he was talking about how depressed he is, how down, like really. And I'm going to put it like this down. I'd seen this story where he jumped and killed himself. And I thought it was just a principal died at Disney in accident. This breaks my fucking heart. And I really have no empathy for people like this. I'd like, make your own decisions, live your life, good, bad, or whatever. But this one struck a chord because the kids, the mother, I had read a different story where they were just devastated. He was the world. They said all the nice things. It's crazy to think that something so small can unravel an entire woven life.
This also points to there had to be so much more going on than this. For like, this doesn't happen overnight.
You lose your job,
the
you
last
lose
straw.
your pay. I bet there's probably money issues, you know, because like I was talking to a friend of mine and I was like, there's always three things wrong with a man. In my opinion, it's either time, achievement, or money. Are you achieving that sex life you want? Are you having gratitude at work? Are you doing more with your life? Do you have the time to do what you want? Are you making time for your family? Are you appreciated in that time? You know, money goes to so many things, but like those are the three things that either stress, break, or motivate a man. Achievement as a father, time with my kids, money to do so. All of that is the stress anchor problem in what I do, who I am. So I was talking to somebody who was having a real downtime, and I mean like on the edge of something I just can't explain. And I've known this guy almost 25 years. Had a picture on my fridge. All of us were the shirts versus the skins. I think you saw that photo in my old townhome. Mm-hmm. And so he's one of those guys. And I had just seen a post on Facebook, and I was like, PM me. I don't know if you had seen that. And I was like, hey, you know, let's talk. So as I'm talking to him, I'm like, you know, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I was a drug addict. I'm still a drug addict. I battle my addiction, especially in the position I'm at now where I have more free time. The idea of doing a line of coke or, you know, just shooting up a little bit, it crosses my mind quite often. Like, I could do this and nobody would know. It's not going to affect my life, but that's because I'm an addict. That's built into me. Mm-hmm. Well, this person's struggling with coke and drink. So he's got a couple of kids in his house at the time, but he lost his job, lost his wife, and it's just been struggle after struggle after struggle. And it's like 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward. It's not 2 and 1, 2 and 1, you'd make progress. But I felt that way when I was trying to get sober, and I was like, there's got to be a moment where you find out what the next want is, and it's less than the need. Like, the need has to be greater, like in a positive light. So like, I'll read you something I said.
Your words, just for like clarification, but the depression doesn't go away. It just gets easier to fight. That fucking hits, dude.
It's true.
It never goes away, but you know how to
maneuver
not
it.
Push it down, but maneuver it. That's a much better.
Like it's navigating an ocean, and I keep telling people that it's like you will never not be depressed.
You will never win a fight with the ocean, but you can learn to move with it.
Exactly. People swim the Pacific, but they train for it.
Yeah.
They've failed far more times than they succeed. That's 2 steps back, 1 step forward. You will make progress in some way. It's a game in numbers. Have you seen that meme where Tosh is like, oh, you know, it's a game of numbers where like everyone gets their 15 minutes, but I get 20 years, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You get 15 minutes, you get 2, you get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 500 years, you know? Like it's a game of balance, checks and balances. But like every man, I think, deals, and there was a quote on Facebook where it says, your 20s to 30s, you find yourself. And I'm like, bullshit. You don't. As a man, as a single man at 20 years old, I wanted to conquer the world. I wanted every single one of every person in my life to be under my boot, under heel. I wanted to be bigger, better, doing more, crushing it. That's why I felt like I was a man of stature. I was a fucking kid, a kid. I didn't know business. I didn't know taxes. I didn't know marriage. I didn't know child. I didn't know nothing. 20 to 25, getting my feet wet with sobriety, trying to get all my shit together, finding out what I did wrong when I was younger to build the status to this shitty mud hole that I was living in. 25 to 30, 25 to 28, I would say. That's when I laid the concrete in the foundation of my life. And I was like, you know what? Hey, if I start off slow and I chip away at this, I'm going to do something. And I'm not saying I did it the right way. Sure, I probably mixed a 60-40 ratio. There's some wet spots. It's not the best foundation. I understand. Not everyone is going to give two shits. But you don't want somebody to rescue you when you're depressed. And a lot of people are like, I wish somebody would just give me a handout, do something for me.
But then you feel guilty for a handout.
No. 5 years after this, and I say this with all due respect, after this hump in your life, this is not the center or the permanence that you're going to have for 60, 50, 40 years, however long you're going to be alive. 5 years from now, you're going to look back, you're either going to laugh at it and say, oh man, if I only knew. Or you're going to say, oh, I really made something. But no person is going to look back at 5 years and say, life was better when I was depressed. It is, once you get out of the idea that everything is down and you're on an escalator to shitville, that's what people do. I was there. I understand it. I still put myself there, and it's like teleportation. I'm just depressed. You can't remedy it just by saying, oh, it's remedied. You know what I mean? You have to make the work. Now you got to fucking just go straight. I'm going to the top. Getting the fuck out of here. But with him, it's like I understand where he's at because I was there. I'm trying to give the little quotes of like, hey, how do you eat a elephant? One bite at a time. Dude, pick something, anything.
Start with the foot.
Something. Go with a toe, dick, trunk, I don't care. Take your first bite. Take your second tomorrow. Your third on Wednesday. Fourth, fifth, sixth, you'll at 10,596,246 and a half. If you spit out one bite.
Move on to the next.
Move on to the next.
Like you also said in your words with him, if it's always one step forward, two steps back, stop counting the back. If you ever stop moving forward, then it's 3 steps back.
Yeah.
You just any
don't stay still.
A step, a foot, a mile, any movement forward is good because it gets you further away from where you were. Me
and my sobriety and my motion, and I can't explain this enough to anyone who's watching this. Idle hands are, what do they say, the devil's worship. Idle hands will kill you, especially like and I hate to say it, like as a man, but like as a creature in this nondescript body that you were given. You have a purpose. There is a genetic purpose. You must do. You cannot stand stationary. You must be moving in some way. Your brain must be functioning. So if you're sitting there doing nothing, that's against your bodily purpose. It's going to fuck you up. Chemicals will imbalance. Do something. Go on a walk. I got kids. I'm constantly in motion when I'm with them. And if I'm not, my wife's on my ass about me not moving around. So I understand. But I have a system now that I built over the last 5 years. That, man, like great life was great 2017. It was amazing. But I'm better off now with the stresses I have now, the life I have now, than making $200,000 a year pure profit, throwing Vegas parties, strip clubs, all this bullshit.
Living the life.
Yeah, sure, I lived the high life. But I didn't have a purpose. That was staying stationary in a sense where I'm like, okay, I spent all this money, I made all this money. There was never progress. I got kids now. And I tell people, like, there is create and nurture. I can create a business, I can nurture that business. There's a purpose in that. The business must grow. But now I'm a farmer. As a father, I want that field to grow. I want it to be bountiful. That's just going to, down the line, create such a ecosystem. I want my wife to be that person. I saw an Andrew Tate clip. It was like, my grandmother was in a room with 60 people that all came from her. And I was just taken back. I was like, that's how my grandparents were. They never said like, oh, I made you, or did any of that petty bullshit that I know certain grandparents would. The idea that people are out here taking their lives and nobody is telling them, just move. You know what I mean? If this person had five minutes with a person who had no stake in the game, just asked for advice. But that's the difference. Most men don't want to.
I feel like they can't.
I didn't. I would have killed myself before I asked somebody for help back in the day. But I know now I can go to you. I can go to Andrew. I can go to anybody. But I've let down that guard that says like, oh, you're weak for it. Or no, you shouldn't do this. But there's a time and a place, and some people like, take advantage of those things when you're trying to help out. And I've seen posts from Sean and a couple of others who have family drama where it's like, people are always coming at me and I'm always going to be the person who's taken advantage of. And I'm like, sure. There's a lot of baggage when you're moving forward. People want a free ride, whether it's emotional, financial, or physical. They want to just jump on your train. One step forward, 2 step back. Do something as long as you're in motion. I don't care if you're taking 10 steps back. Focus on the step forward.
Being able to get that foot forward.
Yeah, do something. I don't just find, and I was telling the person I was talking to, you got to find your first step.
But even if it's not a first step, can you sit up? Can you get out of bed? Can you anything? Rolling Stones don't gather moss. I don't know what angle you want to go on.
There's got to be.
If you're rooted in place, you got to work your way out of it.
There's people who are stuck in their houses and they just can't get out. Like I was stuck in my house when I was living on Watt and Myrtle, and I was doing drugs. I had a yard in the front, yard in the back, and then we were in a gated property. I think I drove you by one time. But the idea was, okay, I got this whole ecosystem. I can call food, do whatever. Trash is taken out automatically, put in the bin, whatever. I didn't have to do anything. I never had to leave that house. So for probably 2 months, I didn't leave the house, didn't shave, probably showered once a week. I was depressed. But at that time, my now wife got me out of that funk then. And it was just, it's weird. I'm fortunate. And I was telling my wife last night, I'm fucking blessed. Whatever drama, whatever bullshit, it was a reminder that in the last decade, man, I could have been gone 30 or 40 times in my own hand. So it's I gotta tell you, if you ever have those feelings, talk to somebody, anybody, call a cousin, a mom, talk to the homeless man on the corner. I guarantee you get him a water, he'll sit there and he'll tell you everything.
They have a lot more free online resources for this as well.
Yeah.
You can't even talk to someone. There's numbers you can text, and they have
877-25-TALK or whatever. So you can call 988 here in the United States. That's your
crisis.
Yeah, that's if you're in a crisis.
They have non-crisis stuff as well.
It's crisis lifeline, suicide prevention lifelines. You can text 741-741. There are like buddy programs out there. You can go to an Al-Anon meeting. Just meet some people. People that have no stake in your life, don't want nothing from you. There's great people. You got a little bit outgoing, but like, man, it's not about, and I hate when people say there's so much more to life. It's not about that. I'm just saying there's so much more for yourself. People got to realize it's never easy to get where you want. Sure, there are windfall moments. There's, what is it? We got money for nothing the other day. Check out that video, fine. But understand, these little windfall moments are not the achievement you're looking for. That is a happenstance. That is, hey, you work hard, you get lucky. You work harder, you get luckier. Little things like that, those are your achievements where the world is saying, here, this is for you. But man, you got a lot of shit you can do in your life that you're just, do more. And we'll see you next time.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past, but knowing me, my DeLorean will probably crash.